Okay, well, live and learn. I was unable to get the green hen to stop her violent streak, so I had to pull her, and we are only going to have 3 foster nests this time. I do not blame her. I was the one that pulled her nest box. She was perfectly happy until I changed her nest box and gave her a different one. And you know, I always give them the same nest boxes in the same place, and I guess I just found out how important that is. So next time, I will drill a different nest box with holes in it for the Borks and give her the same nest box she's always had. The other thing that I learned is I'm sitting there pulling all my hair out because I had that white cock. This blue guy up here abandoned his blue hen, I thought, and went for the green hen. And the blue hen was disinterested in the white cock that was left over, so I went out and bought another cock, hoping she'd like him. Well, she didn't like him. She liked her man, her blue cock, right up there. And guess what? He likes her too. So even though he is with the green hen, he is also with the blue hen. He was feeding them both, breeding them both. My blue hen is in here. He's still taking care of her. She has a bunch of fertile eggs, which I just froze today, and gave her some foster eggs. And they're just going along gangbusters. So I just have to stop inflicting my little Christian values on them. These birds are perfectly happy to share a man. So that's it for that. And they are just about done with their Amtil. I gave them a 5-day course because anytime a bird gets a significant injury, like that hen with the eye, her cock is, one of his toes is dangling unhappily. I give them 5 days of Amtil, which is penicillin-based antibiotics, to make sure they don't get a serious infection. Because what looks like not much to us is this guy has a half-severed toe. He walks around like he doesn't really care, but if I just left it and he got an infection in that, well, it would be bad. So they're almost done with that. Peace reigns, and it's all good. So my cockatiels down here, this is Cotton, and Zoo's in there sitting on eggs. They actually laid some of the first eggs this season, and they are supposed to start hatching on the 19th, which is Saturday. I just did a cold check. I don't really cull the cockatiels because they're still in their original form and can raise lots of babies, but they only have 4 eggs in there, and 4 is a good number. So both cockatiel nests have 4 eggs. The hatch date on this one is a guess because the hen in this box gets super disrupted when I peek, so I just have to leave them alone and have faith. So they're going to start hatching about 4 or 5 days after those do. And we'll see what happens. My fingers crossed that that ranitazole that threw everybody into a tailspin was enough to give them better luck with chicks this time. The Borks are also out in the flight cage on 2 eggs, and the same thing with them. Both these guys and the Borks had diseased eggs last time, so, and diseased babies, so I'm hoping I solved that problem. So then there's all of these guys. You see all those boxes with blue tape on them? Life is good. These guys right here are some of my newest pairs, but clearly love is happening. He's in and out of the box. He's good. And Bubba Jr., I just put him back up here. He does not have his sif. He has a different hen, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But boy, she was just like, ooh, big handsome man, nest box, and she went right into it. They've literally been in here for like 2 days, and she's already in the box. So I expect things to happen there. I'm going on a trip for a few days, so I was kind of checking everybody here. So I checked, these guys are cull date is when I'm leaving, so I checked them. They have 4 embryos in there. I'm not culling. They'll keep them all. This is Indus. His girl finally started laying eggs. It took her a while, but it's the first time, and first-time hens often do that. So she's in there on 1 or 2 eggs at this point. I haven't even checked fertility yet. These 2, well, look at you 2. I had Steel and a girl in here. Steel is one of my show team birds. He's a great big gray with a nice long mask, and he does well on the bench. but he has been infertile a couple of times. So I put him in here to give him one last chance, and he just has zero interest. So I don't know why. He's only like 2.5, maybe 3 years old by now. He should still be going. He's in good health. He just isn't. So, on the other hand, this girl is Minty. And I set her up originally, but the medication made her so sick that I put her back out. But she's feeling much better, has put all her weight back on, and she is here with one of Haverty's boys because she rejected her male last time. So I'm putting him here in with a large, experienced male that can, explain to her what's going on. They've been in here together for about a half an hour. And she already seems to have accepted him. So maybe she just didn't like that other male she was with. We'll see. This down here, unfortunately, looks like another infertile male. This is Puff. He's one of the recessive pieds that I have that I'm really hoping to move my line forward with. He's in there with a beautiful girl. She loves him and kisses him, but he doesn't really pay any attention to her. He's still spending his time running around the bottom of the cage trying to find ways out. It's like he's just kind of deaf and dumb to the whole situation, which tells me he's infertile. Which is why his sister got put in here. I was not going to breed her because I didn't think I needed her. I was going to breed both the boys and pass her on. But since her brother seems to be acting infertile, I will breed her once before I pass her on. And I put her with Bubba Jr. because I'm trying to improve the line. She and this brother down here are the smaller ones. Zephyr down at the other end is the one that's as big as this male in here, and just really a striking bird. But I have to have at least babies out of at least 2 of them so that I can outbreed and then backbreed. So anyway, I will probably take these 2 out. I'll give them a few more days, but they've been in here forever, and they do this all the time. Kiss, kiss. But half the time I come in here and he's sleeping down there in the corner. And she's been in and out of the nest, but there's just no response happening. It's like she knows what's supposed to be going on here, but he doesn't, So whereas, these guys are already there and they've been together for half an hour, and these guys have been together for almost 3 weeks. So I'm just not holding my breath. This is Unakite and Larkspur. This is their second breeding, and they have 5 embryos in there. Now, they gave me 6 or 7 beautiful babies last time around that are just really striking. They're a wonderful pair as far as looks go. He's got the beautiful yellow face coloration, and she's a mauve spangled pied, so I get all kinds of lovely babies out of them. And they're just getting ready to do it again. This is Dolerite, and his girl, who's her girl? I forgot. She's green. Oh, it's Shamrock. Shamrock's in there. Their cold date is when I get back from my trip, so they got a ways to go. Their cold date, so I call it a cold date, and that is because I keep my budgies down to 3 chicks per nest. So often I have to freeze embryos. So what I do is I set a cold date, and if they have too many embryos in the nest and I don't have any place to foster those embryos, then I will stick the youngest, the least developed embryos in the freezer and leave them with only 3 viable embryos. Because these birds are too big, and their babies grow too big too fast, and they cannot keep them fed. If you leave them with more than 3 chicks, you end up with a bunch of small babies. So, Dolerite has been around for a long time. He's not really a show quality bird because he's a pied, and unfortunately, 1/2 of his mask is a pied spot. So he only has those spots, the little necklace spots under his chin on one side, which makes him not showable. However, he is otherwise a very nice bird, so I've been trying to breed him before I sell him off. But I bred him to the same hen twice, and it turned out that she was not well, and they failed to produce anything. But boy, is Shamrock taking care of business. So I was kind of worried about his fertility, not a problem. So anyway, he will end up being put up for sale possibly with Shamrock as a bonded pair after this breeding. We'll see. Definitely him. I'm not sure if Shamrock's going or not. It depends on what my hen population looks like. This is Murphy. Murphy's getting a fertility check because last time I bred him, his hen laid a bajillion eggs and there were no babies in them. So, his hen, Amethyst, has taken a really long time to finally go into this nest, which could be a signal that he is not breeding her. Sometimes hens will wait and wait and wait for a cock to breed them, but if they don't, eventually they'll go to nest anyway and just start laying eggs. So it may be that he's infertile and these eggs will come out infertile, but he just laid it like a couple of days ago. So we have, days and days to go before we even check to see if there's fertility. This is Danube and Pansy. Pansy did this thing where she laid a giant egg. I think she was egg bound for a few days. I gave her the medical marijuana juice. It didn't seem to make any difference, but after like 24 hours later, she finally did pass a gigantic egg. It was not a double yolk, but it should have been. And she sat on it for like 3 or 4 days, I guess, while her little insides recovered from that. And then I opened the cage one day, and all of a sudden the egg was small. And I'm like, well, how did you do that? Well, apparently she sat on the giant egg until she laid a normal-sized one, and then took a look at the giant egg and said, that one ain't right, and threw it out. So now she is on normal-sized eggs. Let's take a peek. I haven't bothered them today. There's Danube. And there goes Pansy. Oh, we're up to 3 eggs, all normal-sized. Isn't that nice? She is a little tiny bird, but she does lay good-sized eggs, to be sure. So they don't have a fertility check for a while yet either. This is Dacite and Belle, and I'm a little disappointed because she laid 7 eggs, and I have 1 well-developed embryo and a second one that might be coming along. It's like her first egg and her 5th egg were fertile, but none of the ones in between. And I'm kind of wondering if I forgot to trim her or something like that, because that's pretty unusual to happen. The eggs in between are just blanks. They're not rotting, they're not cracked, there's nothing wrong with them, they just aren't fertile. So I'm a little mystified. But that does mean, because she only has 1 embryo, I don't have to cull any of these because the extra 2 will get put over here. This is, what's her name? Amenadiel. Hi, Amenadiel. Little tiny, very fluffy Amenadiel. His girl is in here. Her cold date is Monday when I get back from my trip. She has fertility. Wonderful things are happening. I can hardly wait to see this pair. This is one of those. So now, Amenadiel, it's kind of surprising he's still on the perch. He usually goes and hides on the back wall of the cage. But I wish you could see his feet, because Amenadiel has very, very badly rolled ankles. Really badly rolled. He's also, if you can tell, missing flight feathers and tail feathers. He clearly had French molt when he was a baby, but survived it and manages to keep good body weight on, which suggests that it did not bother his organs. And every once in a while he does grow more tail feathers, but they just fall right back out again. So the follicles got killed. And he's really, really, really tiny. He looks a lot bigger than he is because he's very fluffy, but this is one tiny little bird. And that and the rolled ankles that he stands on tells me that he would have been a much bigger bird if he had got more food. Because those rolled ankles are the beginning of rickets. So he was undernourished when he was a baby, and it stunted his growth. And it probably also is the reason that he got French molt, because he was weakened by the lack of nourishment. And this is exactly what happens when you leave too many eggs in the nest. They can't feed the youngest ones, so the youngest ones suffer, starve, and die. Oh, but anyway, it's really helpful if you're buying birds If you look at a bird and you think, that's a nice bird, but he's too small, if he has rolled ankles, the chances that his genetics are bigger than that are very good. You see how his feet are turned in? Can you see that? That is a lack of calcium as a baby. So anyway, I also put him with a giant hen. She's very, very, very tall, and although she doesn't have any feathers, she has the genetics for feathers. So I'm really excited about this pairing. He's bringing new blood to the flock without downgrading our quality. So this is Nile, and he's in here with, I want to say, no, it's not Loren. Yeah, Loren. No, Loren's the green one. I have a group of girls with French names, and I can't keep them straight. Okay, I just looked up this girl over here, and this is Lemieux. Oh, yeah, this is Fleur. Okay, so he's in here with Fleur. I'm not looking for gray wings this time. I have like a bajillion gray wing babies out of him. So this time I'm just looking for splits. She's blue, and they're her cold dates when I get back. So, full fertility. So, this is Callahan and Rain. And Rain did something very weird. Of course, they all did a lot of weird stuff because I gave them that medication that really put them off. So, she laid 2 solid eggs and stopped. One of them I could tell was not going to hatch because the air sac was too big, but the other one's cooking along just fine. And she's literally going to hatch these babies the day I get back from my trip. So I was thinking she'd probably start up laying again, but she didn't. And now I really hope she doesn't, because you can't have one old baby and a bunch of young ones. But that also means I have a place to foster babies, which is good. So she's sitting on one viable egg, one that fizzled, did not turn green, which is a good sign. So it's still sterile inside the egg. The embryo just didn't survive. And